What's up, one and all? This is the Peace Dealer, ready to get this show on the road. And welcome to this full moon in Taurus webinar, where a whole lot of this cybernetic and quantum evolution that Jupiter is bestowing will finally meet a whole lot of its grounding and material presence. In other words, this is a great couple of days to literally materialize a lot of the depth you've been feeling. And the purpose of this full moon is to carry forth a whole lot of that energy into the next 5 to 6 years, but really 5 to 6 months, as you know, we're going to lead into the Sagittarius new moon adventure. Well, actually, Scorpio new moon, but we're going to lead into the Sagittarius season that will guide us back down into the spring as we close out the seasons, which is always important to recognize about astrology. The true, authentic astrology. I will not speak for Vedic because I don't really believe in Vedic like that. I believe in sidereal as another system, but Western astrology is based tropically off the systems. It's important to reiterate. You have these fools talking about, and I don't mean fellow astrologers, I mean like self-proclaimed scientists who can't even tell the difference between the precession of the equinoxes and the seasonal influence of the sun traveling through the Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn. We map out the zodiac signs by the solstices. So when we reach that spring solstice again, we restart the zodiac. When we reach that first day of spring in the Northern Hemisphere, where we have the most day, we are at Aries season. This is how you don't even really need a calendar. You can just tune in with nature. And tuning in with nature is all about Taurus. And this full moon in Taurus, in a nutshell, is going to materialize a whole lot of the spiritual psychic work you have effectively put into practice so that you can see it manifest through your five senses and in your body. It's important to get a short recap right now, if anything, about how what you have built is building up and will perfect itself now and with this first quarter square that we developed. So with this first quarter square, you know, the moon was in Aquarius while the sun was in Scorpio. And it really helped key you into profound knowledge that you're able to integrate based off of you kind of gaining a more detached understanding of everything you were kind of attached, because there's an obsession and a depth that comes with Scorpio that allows you to very powerfully and perfectly express yourself very, you know what I'm saying, dynamically. It's what's going to make you want to give your all into everything. So with that being said, as we shift into the first quarter square, as the moon moved through Sagittarius and Capricorn and started to really activate and give us a vision of how we're going to take this deeper evolution of our spirits, Capricorn really, you know, opened up a powerful ability to really push forward greater emphasis on how deeply you could like take executive action. One thing about Sagittarius and Capricorn with this moon transit in Scorpio is it started to give you awareness of what you were going to be really serious and passionate about. So the first quarter square in Aquarius very effectively did well to help you detach and gain the relevant knowledge necessary so that you're in a better position to understand profoundly what you really truly want. The first quarter square will give you challenges to where you have to make adjustments. And these adjustments have been made over this past week. So now that we have made the changes in the moon in Pisces, and now we're taking actions to fine tune these changes in the moon in Aries. So at the end of the webinar before the Q&A, all right, you want to join me for the ritual we're going to do. I'm already feeling my energy come. So for those of you who want to harness your energy, you can kind of like release or kind of feel, I don't know how to describe it, but you want to feel yourself like grabbing or clenching or squeezing this root or sacral chakra, and you can slowly feel energy charge up, because from the ritual we did last night and yesterday, we're going to redo it again today, but a lot much more focused, especially now that we have more focused numbers. We don't have necessarily 100 people watching live, so it won't necessarily be as powerful as the other rituals we do, but it will be more pure, because a lot of people here in this have done a lot of the webinars. So what we're making up for in terms of sheer numbers, which will eventually grow, is consistency. And this is where every time we do rituals in earth signs, whether it's a full or new moon in an earth sign, all the cumulative rituals stack up on each other. So you'll find you get to really, stack up a lot. And after we do this charging meditation, what we're going to do is a special meditation to release any feelings of self-esteem or self-worth that do not value or align with the desire you're willing to receive. So that being said, we're going to go into the Peace Mobile soon, but I just kind of want to go into a brief overview of what the next part of this Scorpio season is going to entail, because this is where things get a lot more serious. All right, this full moon, over the next 48 hours, you're going to come into the completion of this phase. So the hard work you have done to really help, gather up what you're ready to release is definitely set to manifest itself in what you gain, as well as what you're also in a profound position to very much so acknowledge in the way you carry yourself. But honestly, full moon in Taurus, you're going to receive something physical, whether this is a large sum of money or whether this is actual possessions that you could use to bring forward with you. Anything that manifests in this full moon in Taurus, you're meant to take it with you into Sagittarius season. The theme that you want to take for the rest of this phase, the disseminating and balsamic phase, the disseminating phase is going to lead from the full moon in Taurus to the moon in Leo, and the moon in Leo to the new moon in Scorpio is going to be that balsamic phase where a lot of your fears are going to arise, and you're going to be in a position to where you have to bring the evolution of yourself, all right, into and through these challenges, through the pettiness. Okay, we're going to pass the moon in Gemini and the moon in Leo, this disseminating phase. So things are going to get hella petty because the truth is going to come out. Gemini is going to bring the truth out, and Leo is going to bring the flair. Leo brings the flair where it's like Gemini says the truth. That's why Gemini and Leo are just so funny together, because it's like Gemini will say the truth and then Leo will get everyone's attention and be like, hey guys, did you hear what Gemini said? Whoa, and let's talk about it. And it's just kind of like goes from there. And a whole lot of that is going to be happening. If you thought, Sagittarius and Aquarius, these transits brought out the truth, because they're really coming out while the moon is in masculine signs, and then we analyze them in the feminine signs. We're going to come into full analyzation when the moon is in Gemini and when the moon is in Virgo and Leo later. So you'll find that during this phase, what the name of the game is really coming into how you're going to use what happened. For example, Paul Dottie just asked very greatly, and yes, spark up if you want, but this is where you get that master sword. This is where not only you get that master sword, because that's a very good analogy. There's going to be such a transformation after that moon in Gemini to where you get the master sword, the full moon in Taurus. It's just flat, it's fixed. You come into your sacred treasure. That's what this full moon is about. This full moon in Taurus, you're going to unlock your sacred treasure. Some of you that's a rod, some of you that's a sword, some of you that's really coming in. It's not that you're getting it for the first time. It's finally wielded to a place where you can take physical form. And this could take physical form in the sense where you're using your skills and talents to make practical, physical, concrete moves with. And on top of that, the moon in Gemini passing through there is now where, if you remember in the course of the game, when you get that master sword, you skip 7 years into the future, because this is the ocarina of time, right? So that master sword induces a time skip. Instead of you getting a time skip, what this is going to do, and this is the secret here, this is why this is more for the live webinars, but what this is going to do, you're not going to necessarily have a time skip, but you're going to shift the timeline. So when you unlock your sacred treasure, you're stepping back into your real timeline, and you can bring it across timelines. And then when you sheath and put back that sacred treasure, you go back to that other timeline. Right. I can't say one timeline because not everyone is in the same timeline. But instead of time literally like skipping forward, you're shifting timelines. And when you shift this timeline, your sacred treasure is going to show you how like certain timelines that you're in, you can deal with the same individual, but the timeline shift will show you different facets of that person. And for some of you, you're literally like stepping into a parallel dimension, and you're meant to merge both of those worlds. So this is where I say you want to go through this. But that's just more an analogy, because when we talk about, once again, that timeline skip, when you get your sacred treasure, it's going to show you more the reality of how distinct you are with your pure vibration. And let's use that. I love video games. Let's use that example. Or I love using video game analogies. Let's use that example. When this child unlocked this sacred treasure that he was worthy to wield, he instantly grew up 7 years. This is an analogy. It's that it enlightened his wisdom. So you're going to grow 7 years in knowledge. And we saw him physically grow 7 years in knowledge, but when he grew 7 years older, he stepped outside of that temple. And before, when he was a kid and he went into it, it was full of life. It was green. Everything was all happy. He walked out. He was 7 years into the future, and everything was all like nuclear, post-Holocaust. Like there were literal zombies walking out. And it's so scary when you play that game for the first time and you walk out of there. I used to be so scared. That used to be the scariest part of the game. Like you would just walk out and it's like, oh my God, these zombies are chasing you, and you have to fight them with the master sword. You have to get out of there. And then you get out the castle and you see the main villain, and Ganondorf just like shoots you with the arrow or kicks you off while he's riding away in a horse. Or maybe that happened before. But regardless, like that shadow temple was really, scary. And that's a huge analogy to you growing up with this sacred treasure, you gaining years of wisdom and seeing that what used to be bright to you, you're going to see through it. You're going to see, oh my gosh, these people really are zombies. What I thought was bright is all artificial. It's all dark and dreary and fake. All right. So once again, that's just an analogy. It may not necessarily. Oh, that is a fun fact. It may not necessarily, manifest exactly like this, but it's still very powerful. Okay. And you're still going to be in a position to gain profound realization into now the first quarter square in Leo, which is connected with the North Node, that will very profoundly and strongly key you into stronger ways to now establish your heart. Because this is what we're headed to. Okay. What we're headed to with this first quarter square, think back to the last quarter square when the moon was in Aquarius on the south node. What was effectively occurring was that you were gaining powerful ability to uncover the knowledge of your destiny. And the reason why you had to detach is because you had to really focus on what it is you want from what you're investing in. But this moon in Aquarius transit started to give you like a sneak peek or an awareness or a receptivity of where your destiny is headed and what you had to develop. The South Node is all past life influences, but it's really more indicating, along with early childhood, what your skills you have, and not necessarily skills. What is the knowledge that you have in any craft that you have? The reason why I say you want to be mindful of what you did, if you're an artist, let's say it's your destiny to do entertainment. When the moon's in Aquarius, you probably were having talks or uncovering knowledge about important people in your field. Or, you know what I'm saying, something that really led to the development, depending on the house that it's in as well, will also color this. So when we get to that third quarter square, where we have now finished the harvest and we're ready to kill the crops, you're going to have a full manifestation where it's manifesting in Taurus. You're going to have the full understanding and take action on your destiny. This is where, drum roll please, you're going to have that big break, because Leo is the 10th house of Scorpio. Especially you Scorpio risings, this is going to really push you forward, okay, no matter how late it is. So it's all leading up to now. This next couple of weeks are going to be some of the most intense, and we already stepped out of some of the most intense weeks. We're not going to know intensity like the Capricorn season will have, but this is going to be a very fun part because we've done the work already, and now this is the next couple of weeks to reap off that work. And once again, the major theme of this phase that this full moon in Taurus will give is to remember your value, remember your worth. Don't let people feel that with all their power and resources, they can step all over you. You want to stand up for what you believe deep down in your soul, because this is what Scorpio represents. Scorpio represents the initial depth that starts from your heart and values in Leo and Taurus, or Taurus and Leo respectively, and now takes form with this rare facet of yourself, which is deep, and only those who have seen you naked can know. This is where you cannot allow people, you know what I'm saying, with that moon in Taurus, who don't really know about you, to judge you. This is a do not judge a book by its cover transit, because, you know, full moon in Taurus could be releasing superficial or materialistic views to gain a clear look at your value. All right. And it's going to reveal a whole lot concerning values that need to be released, and just the quality of people's characters. Again, you're going to see a lot of people exposing themselves. You're going to see where a lot of people's heads are at. And it may kind of make you lose respect for some people, because it's like they just lack a certain quality of depth to them, or they could just be delusional. But instead of necessarily letting that, you know, let you down or anything, you kind of want to be in a position where you actively, you know, hold your ground and allow that person to do what they're doing, but through your influence, you know what I'm saying, you show the way, or you just keep your own, you know what I'm saying, facets. Because what's important, especially from now, once the North Node is in Cancer, anyone who's not supposed to be in your life will not be in your life. But there might be some people who are in your life that aren't the best for you, because through them, you're going to make the right contacts, you're going to learn stuff from them, and you're going to make the right connections. All right. Trust me, that influence is still, it's not, it could be confusing you, because you're like, you know, there's a lot of great stuff you're doing with these people, but it's like, you don't necessarily, you feel something is off. And that's because through your relationship with these certain people, you know what I'm saying, you're going to teach them certain lessons and they're going to teach you certain lessons, but it's temporary. That's why you're feeling that uneasiness. And as certain things may come up to maybe, you know what I'm saying, get in the way, don't take it personally. In some cases, it'll be the opposite, where you can even get closer to certain people. Peace, XOS, yes. So keep that in mind, because it's going to very profoundly not only shift you, the North Node in Cancer next year, everything will kind of leave, but definitely be in a position to not only embrace this energy, but still stand your ground, because the most important thing about this week when you break out is to implement unique things about yourself where other people may think it's not right. Other people may think it's not the wisest thing to do, but it is authentically you. It's not about whether you're doing something in protocol right now. And it's not about whether you're doing the right thing. It's about standing up for yourself and having enough authenticity and originalness to be yourself. And you have to understand, some people, no matter how hard they try, they can't be themselves because all they do is they make masks for other people and they live for other people's approval. They're not necessarily here to even be themselves. Some people have like 7th house or 10th house sons. Not everyone has a 4th house, 8th house, 1st house son who's here to like do themselves. So make sure you learn how to balance with those people, but also make sure you also learn how to, you know what I'm saying, put your foot down and express yourself, because you're living your life. These are all things the full moon in Taurus wants you to establish. How do you feel about your worth? How do you feel about, you know what I'm saying, your value? Okay. So other than that, you want to embrace quite profoundly how strong you're going to be in a position to allocate how well you're ready for this shift. I wanted to get through the serious facets of this, but since a majority of you here actually live in, you know, integrity and have maturity, this is going to really be now one of these phases and transits where it's like, yes, I'm starting to see things work really well in my life. All right. Think about the opposite. When we had the full moon in Scorpio, we had to finish that Taurus transit. Now, this Scorpio transit after the full moon, this is where you start to reap all the positive stuff you worked really hard for 6 years ago. Okay? You're going to manifest 6 months ago, sorry, and 6 years ago, but 6 months ago, you're going to manifest all this in deeper experiences because you're standing firm in your value and you're going to be stronger. All right. When it's Sagittarius season, we're going to work for the first 2 weeks. And then once we hit that full moon in Gemini, we're going to manifest everything we worked hard for 6 months ago in Gemini season. So that's what's the good thing about this. For those people who don't do the work, for those people who try and sweep it under the rug and try and basically be fake to themselves and not look themselves in the mirror and confront stuff, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be the opposite. They're going to break down. This is going to be a horrible 6 months because they didn't do the work. You guys, you did the work. So trust me, this is a Scorpio season. You're just going to be gaining a whole lot, and whatever you get over the next couple of days is going to multiply upon itself. So with that being said, regardless, let us now shift into the Peace Mobile. And it's definitely going to be, you know, powerful, because you're going to be in a position to very profoundly, now as we speak, with the moon on Uranus, really hypercharge and hyper-focus your intentions and affirm with who you are. It's okay if you don't feel like a vortex swirling around you, but you need to make a decision about who you decide to be, who you want to be, and allow right now in this very moment yourself to really quantum shift. This quantum shift, of course, is going to lead into Taurus. In fact, looks like we might see this go in sometime tonight. Okay, so really more so November 3rd. It's going to slip in 3 a.m. for any of my late birds who stay up. But yeah, this is definitely going to be very profound because you'll be in a great position to, with this full moon, once again, complete the lunar phase. So make sure when you're ready to release, you're in a position to release anything in your life that does not make you feel valuable and that does not make you feel worth the desire you are aware you are worth. You holding that vibration is what's going to actually attract people who affirm that worth. So I want you really quickly now for the next couple of minutes, if anything, to really kind of sit down and affirm what is your value. When we do the meditation, after we examine and break this down for each of the zodiac signs, we're going to revisit everything you're thinking now. And this is what we're going to affirm and release. So you want to spend some time right now on reviewing the past 6 months so far. And how has your value risen? And what is it that you will not accept anymore? What is it that you have to demand? What are your standards that you have to be respected in order for you to feel like you can share more of yourself? Take a couple minutes to think about that. So the moon shifting into Gemini is when we're going to begin the disseminating phase as it shifts out of Taurus. This is going to profoundly help us gain a greater understanding of how we can be and what we're going to transform about what we've received. Because that full moon in Taurus is going to lay it down and start to really help you understand the foundation you're stepping on to create more of what you're ready to become. So look to this opposition to Saturn while squaring Neptune to key you into special information. But this is where a lot of like truth is going to come out based on what has already been revealed, plus more revelation, especially with this sextile here. Okay. Then once this goes into Cancer, everything, how people really feel about stuff is going to come to light. So the opposition to Pluto, there will be some shady dynamics occurring where you can't necessarily just trust what, especially actually more so in Gemini, you can't really necessarily just trust what people say, because once this comes to light in Cancer, you'll now know how people really feel. All right, especially as we're shifting with Venus going into Scorpio, which is going to be a huge deal, as you know, it's going to conjunct Jupiter, and this is going to be amazing for authentic relationships. None of that fake stuff. All right, especially this grand water trine that will introduce a newer feeling into relationships. It's going to be an auspicious day with the sextile of the full moon to manifest very great emotions in your existing relationships with others or a new relationship. All right, this is that Ace of Cups, Page of Cups moment. So bam, we've hit the first quarter square, the third quarter square. The third quarter square is now where over this disseminating phase, you have reached a position that has allowed you to harvest the crops of what you've gained this full moon in Taurus. The value that you've manifested, you're now harvesting it in new ideas. You're transforming by expressing. Where during this moon in Gemini transit, it's like, I'm not going to let you talk to me like this. And then this is going to harvest in new feelings that envelop how you believe about your worth, your desire, and how you feel. So this third quarter square is when it's a make or break moment where you have to bring your heart. This is that square with the sun and Leo. All right. With the Scorpio and Leo, you can't bring that woo-woo, lame, you know what I'm saying, half-hearted BS. You have to come with the full conviction. Whatever you do, seriously for yourself, while the moon is in Leo, if you do it with all your heart while you're speaking your truth, everything will align for you. You don't even have to know what the hell you're doing. This will evoke some jealousy, but that's just inevitable with Scorpio and Leo energy. It's also going to evoke some passionate sexual energy. So you can take advantage of that rawness and tap and channel that energy. But no one's saying that you have to be the life of the party and like completely like be super wild and vibrant, but you have to put your heart into whatever opportunity opens up. As an opportunity will open up, maybe for you to speak somewhere, maybe for you to express your heart and opinion about something. And you have to put your heart into what you're saying, because the depth will be felt with Scorpio. And if you're not really sincere, if you don't really care about what you're talking about, it's going to tell, and it's not going to look good at all. So for some of you, the reason why this is a big shot is you might have to be very passionate and put your heart into something that's unconventional. This is opposite Aquarius, and it's going to be making a yod to Pluto and Neptune. So for all intents and purposes, this could be some of you coming out a spiritual closet, a creative closet, where people realize, oh my gosh, you're actually a superstar. Like, this is who you really are. So keep this in mind, because once this now moves into Virgo and we hit that balsamic phase, or really the extension of the disseminating phase after it starts waning and now disseminates into the balsamic, this is where you're going to gain profound facts. And you'll be able to analyze over the next couple of days over who in your social circle or who around you is really with it, who around you is, and these people will come to you. This will let you know and inform you. You'll kind of gain relevant facts and details. And since we have this psychoanalytical energy with Virgo and Scorpio, the intuitions that you've been gaining every opposition it makes to Neptune with the square to Mercury and Sagittarius will key you into light the application of very special signs and currents of energy that will be building up. The reason why this is important is as we shift into this moon in Virgo, from Virgo into Libra, this balsamic phase of the dark moon here, you're going to have to sacrifice a certain partnership. From this third quarter square, whatever you do while the moon is in Leo, the aftermath is going to change while the moon is in Virgo, and you're going to take action to snip with this moon in this moon square Pluto. There's going to be a relationship that's sacrificed in order for you to fully step into what you're meant to do, because it'll happen on its own, and it's just going to be people walking their separate ways. So no matter how this happens, once again, this is why you have to make sure you put your heart in what you do, because if it wasn't authentic, then it's going to jumble things. But if it was authentic, then you have to know whatever leaves is meant to leave, and it's better for you that it leaves. All right. So don't even say bye. Just be like, just whatever, however you want to be, but know that it's a victory. You're standing up for yourself. All right. And it's also going to expose hidden dynamics where certain power plays might be had behind your back. So in that case, don't necessarily worry about it. All that is not in integrity will literally be revealed with this Pluto square. It's the perks of Pluto in a Scorpio season. So once we step into this new moon in Scorpio happening in the master degrees of the sign of grace, perfectly quincunxing, if anything, Uranus, this is what is going to establish oh, okay, this is going to be 26 degrees. This is what's going to establish quite profoundly this new phase and new sense of fully trusting in ourselves, because the purpose of this Scorpio season is to develop a trust in ourselves so potent, and we will feel it with this connection with Venus and Jupiter, that once we blast off forward into Sagittarius, we can make wild decisions and we could have this vibrant charisma. So that really, once again, in a nutshell, is what we could expect to experience over the next couple of days, really over the next couple of weeks. And it's going to be electric because, Leo and Aquarius have been brought into focus. And now, as we have kind of explained that, we're now going to break down by zodiac sign what you could really expect over the course of these 2 weeks. So Aries, Aries rising, and Aries moon. This is definitely going to be a profound opportunity to transform how comfortably and deeply you express your creativity. You will find that you're given opportunity to really share your heart in ways that provide for more deeper intimacy, for people to gain a deeper understanding of who you are, as well as a way for you to be in a position to kind of like transform your life through the expression of some creative work. This next couple of weeks is going to be amazing, especially as far as the cards are concerned. We do have Clean It Up with the Oracle cards. So anything in your life that any extra clutter that needs to be cleared, anything that really does need to be taken care of over the next 2 weeks, kind of like take care of that, clean up any false lost ends. We have you starting this phase out with the Temperance, so things are definitely going to balance itself very well. You're going to find the moderation in your life just kind of gives you more time to do what you want. And with the Two of Cups here in the middle, Aries, Aries moon, Aries rising, this is talking about a partnership developing. Some of you, even a romantic connection that comes in where both of you kind of are able to balance each other, and it moves pretty quickly with the Eight of Wands and things falling into place. And the bottom card we have here is the World. So you're going to find that the main theme for you this next couple of weeks, Aries, Aries moon, Aries rising, oh, can't you focus, camera, is going to have much to do with you and another individual finding completion together, which is a very amazing theme. And it's you're going to find that once you both connect, things just literally like move forward. The Temperance Two of Cups dynamic is starting off really on a more friendly level and then quickly, developing intimately. Okay. So as far as Taurus moon, and Taurus rising is concerned, you want to be in a position to acknowledge the open door Jupiter and Scorpio is giving to allow people to be more of themselves as you hold space for them. And this third quarter square in your fourth house is going to open up a deeper level of comfort in your comfort zone so that you can allow more people inside your life. And this will have much to do with the boundaries you place surrounding how much you really believe in yourself and how much you release of yourself outward to others. Truth be told, of course, though, is going to be speaking of you just being a mirror for others, and based off of how you react with your body language, it letting people know how you truly feel, and you just being in a position to reveal truth. I feel like you're not going to gain the truth. People are going to get the truth from how you really, physically tell them or tell them indirectly. So we do have the Four of Cups. This is you emotionally withdrawing after the moon's in your sign. This is a moon in Cancer card. So right before that third quarter square, you're just going to be chilling out. You might be turning down some opportunities that you don't necessarily care for, and it is what it is. But that third quarter square comes in, and we do have victory and you kind of sailing in. Any kind of work you do or will do is going to be very positive, and you're going to gain a lot more notoriety and positivity than you expect. Although, interestingly enough, with the moon, there does seem to be a secret rabbit hole or chapter you step into. The moon necessarily isn't really a bad card, because with the bottom card being the Wheel of Fortune, there's an evolution of your own psychic ability that will occur. So it starts off a bit low key, but it kind of ventures into a more mystical element. The moon is talking about private stuff to you, so that's why I can't really pinpoint it. But yeah, definitely be mindful of what you uncover and trust your intuition on it too, even though it won't make the most sense at first. Gemini rune, Gemini rising. This phase of the moon for you, as you are currently mapping out your lifestyle and preparing the way over the next 12 months of integrating everything you've learned. This third quarter square is going to help you express your attitude more vibrantly and courageously, so that you can learn to balance those facets, of course, with the spirituality that you're releasing with your lifestyle. Gemini, this full moon in Taurus is going to have you release certain old habits that can now open up a new way of being, which is very powerful. Okay, so interestingly enough, no, hold on. Get the oracle cards. The oracle card that we have for you is the never-ending story. So there seems to be, with this Neptune transit, a recurring concept. There seems to be a recurring thing that might almost be haunting you, something that you're not able to really get out of your life. But what's beautiful about this is, over the next couple of weeks, you finally get to the source and the root of this, which is going to really change very much so your attitude towards this whole dealing. So it looks like you may be very linked with Aries, because we have the Eight of Wands as the bottom card, and it's saying things are going to move very quickly for you over this next couple of weeks. Like, your whole life can change in a flash. And the Temperance card and the Two of Cups, similar to Aries, is talking about you and a very significant partner, you know what I'm saying? Probably romantic or both in nature, that you're going to really get to know on a much deeper level over the next couple of weeks. The Temperance card has much to do with everything in your life just reaching a very amazing balance. And the Magician card is, since everything is in place, all the people are in place, you can finally really move forward with this magic that you're ready to express and instill quite profoundly. So very positive, Gemini. This is definitely talking about you exploring the soulmate compatibility too, with that Two of Cups, but also stepping more into yourself as the Magician. All right. Cancer moon, Cancer rising. This full moon in Taurus is really going to help you develop the way you express yourself to your own friends, because what you're developing quite profoundly is a deeper sense of passion and creativity. So the full moon in Taurus is going to help align you with the proper friends in your network who actually believe in what you do and who actually want to invest in what you do. And this third quarter square in Leo is going to do very profoundly and great. Wow, Cancer, you got a very, your spread, it literally speaks for itself. It's going to I wish I could show you it, but it's going to really like key in a need for profound value. You're gonna have to step up for what you're worth. You're gonna have to show people and put your foot down and be like, no, this is what I'm worth, so that you can open up a greater sense of value through this. But we have Page of Cups as the background card. So this next couple of weeks, you're developing new feelings. There's a new facet that's growing up for you. This could be a new lover, but I see this as you, because what was under the Page of Cups, what the Page of Cups was under the Queen of Cups. And as you can see, the Queen of Cups is this high priestess here, right? And you may be receiving an investment or a gift. This is definitely speaking of you diving in deeply to a deeper facet of your psychic power. And the high priestess coming after the queen of cups, this is a very, very, very psychic woman who deeply knows most of what she feels and isn't always lost into it. So Cancer, this could be you kind of making this investment yourself, but I just get the sense it's definitely something practical, grounded, and new, and someone investing in you that's going to be positive. Leo, Leo moon, Leo rising. This is going to be very powerful because this full moon in Taurus will establish a great sense of who you have to be so that you can offset these private issues that you're having to deal with, but really, in this sense, heal from. I forgot to give Cancer their oracle card, and Cancer's oracle card is regeneration. So you're going to be in a position where you're actually healing from old wounds, and you're also healing quite profoundly from, it's not even healing, you're just going to gain more strength for your heart to really love more deeply. Anything that you kind of hurt yourself in old relationships, it's not going to be the case. Whereas Leo, you want to be in a position to really examine what is the stability you want in your own reputation. And you have to do this by looking deep within your soul, and everything that you're proud of, you want to have as a part of your persona. You want to actually have as what you tell people, put on your resume. This is a great week to build your resume, because what you're going to receive and release also is really caring way less about what the world thinks about you. Because Leo, your fourth house is Scorpio. So people really don't know about you like they think they know. They only know what you show them. And people think that they know you. People think Leo is an open book. No, Leo only shows you what they want to show you. And that first quarter square, while the moon is in your first house, you're going to really now bring from this harvest how you're going to express this to yourself, how you're going to really reestablish this vibrance. This grounding is going to stoke your fire so you can shine higher. And this is so symbolic. As I said, stoke your fire, we have the Page of Wands. So you might have to be your own hype man for a bit. But what's really interesting with the last two, the Devil and the Ace of Swords, I really like how this is here to like that. It's like what's being expressed is this deeper facet of your own sexuality, but also your own dark energy, your own shadow. And I think, Leo, what's happening over the next couple of weeks is you're going to transcend some very deep shadow issues. You're going to transcend some addictions. You're going to bring this light down towards some dark shadow attachments that with this Ace of Swords, you'll be able to cut through. All right. The Devil card is very much so Capricorn. So really, any kind of shady dealings with this energy, whether embodied by someone, you're going to expose. And the Chariot card is definitely speaking of you gaining a lot of victory once again over natural forces. The Devil card for you, as you rev your excitement, is going to come in the form of temptation, Leo. And you definitely want to just really have control over these natural forces and not necessarily be in a position to succumb to that lust, which is very hard to at times. Yin, okay? Yin is talking about the more receptive and feminine you can be, the more this energy will help facilitate your victory. Virgo, Virgo moon, Virgo rising, this full moon in Taurus is going to really help you uncover the facts and grounded knowledge that will help you release anything that's totally just BS, because you're in a position where you're experimenting with new ideas, and this will really help cap and ground your philosophy with what you're ready to instill with. And regeneration is definitely talking about you healing certain modes of expressing yourself where you might have been restricted before. All right. Keep in mind, of course, with the third quarter square in your 12th house, this is going to be you releasing certain old habits or ways that you might have blocked your heart from shining, so that this will really open up more of your mind. We do start things off with the 9 of Wands. So you want to be very mindful of anything of how cautious you're being, but the picture I see is you're just going to be on guard. Okay, we have the strength card here, which as a bottom card is talking about you really being passionate, you being on fire, you having that strength and courage. But it seems like you're protecting something because you're coming into some powerful manifestation, and you're going to manifest more power, more clout, more strength. But it's like you don't want anyone in this. Like you're kind of the bodyguard here, and you're going to really achieve a lot that you've been wishing for. Come into the new moon in Scorpio, but I just like this theme and dynamic. Like you're ready to let some people into this, but you're not going to let just anyone, and your discernment is going to be on fleekage. All right, but definitely look to powerful developments of the higher knowledge you gain, leading directly into powerful wish fulfillment. Okay, stuff that you've been wanting for the past 6 months. Finally, okay. Libra moon, Libra rising. This is going to be rather fun, but only if you can open up deeper intimacy in the way you express and embrace your insecurities. This is going to be a little bit uncomfortable, but ultimately very releasing in the sense where certain stuff you've been stuck on when it comes to sharing more of yourself. Like Libras don't have a problem sharing themselves, but it could be hard for them to share real stuff about themselves, if that makes sense. So this third quarter square that we have in your 11th house will really help you know who you can trust after this full moon, as they will expose themselves with the way they may or may not be shifty. Because what's going to happen in some cases, you're going to find where some people aren't to be trusted, some people are to be trusted quite profoundly. But this is very interesting. We have a very interesting dynamic here, and I may be helping you dodge a bullet because someone isn't necessarily the most honest, especially if you're dealing with someone that you're friends with. If you're kind of going to invest in a party, we have exchanging gifts, which happens during a party or which happens during some kind of get together. The Three of Cups is talking about celebration being a main theme. But if we look on what's top of that, right? We have the Six of Swords, and then the Lovers, and we have this disappointment, right? But if we look, there's a story being told here. Someone's disappointed because whatever lover they had is actually creeping. So we have a cheater here. All right. Someone's going to be found either caught cheating or someone's going to be cheated on. And if you look at what's under here, we have the Three of Cups. So we can see the cups knocked over. So I really hope you're not the one getting cheated on. I hope you're not the one cheating either, Libra, but whoever you're dealing with, the Lovers card is talking about this person maybe coming into focus more so in the middle of this third quarter square, which is why there's going to be issues of trust and certain secrecy. So definitely keep that in mind. That just seems to be the snapshot. And once we now move into Scorpio and Scorpio rising, you're going to release people in your life or your opinion or views on certain people that don't necessarily kind of fit with you anymore. You're going to find your attitude towards people shifts considerably. And that third quarter square in Leo is going to give you an opportunity to put you in the spotlight in ways that will help boost your career, provided, you're honest about certain private knowledge that you have. All right. So we got some good cards for you. So Scorpio, the bottom card we have is blessed. And that's great. This is your birthday period. So we do have blessed. All right. It's important to know you are blessed overall. And, ultimately, and carrying this vibration will help you. And we even have the Queen of Cups under here. So it's talking about you experiencing deep love. And it's honestly an extension of Cancer. If we look at what's under this, we have this, right? We have this as the end. I just kind of want to give you the image as I see it because it's so symbolic. And then we have this here, right? So the Queen of Cups is talking about you kind of coming out the spiritual closet and you stepping into this beauty. And it's not even so much that you're coming out the spiritual closet, but you're taking a lot of how you've developed your own spiritual and psychic power. And it's just talking about, this is just very profound. This is talking about, to the objective viewer, a new lover. This is going to describe like someone who's not only super psychic, but someone who's beautiful and ready to love unconditionally. So in this case, Scorpio, this is you. This is talking about you're ready to give your cup out. It's not really talking about the person you're going to be with. It's talking about you kind of carrying this energy. So this is just going to be very beautiful. There's a great beauty that's going to be just expressed through you as well. Okay, so Sagittarius, Sagittarius moon, Sagittarius rising. The energy that you're going to experience will rock your world because you're going to be in a position to see the unseen. And this full moon is going to show you real physical evidence of what you have subconsciously been picking up so that you can make changes to your lifestyle based on this upgraded spirituality that's getting ready to relaunch. But this seems at a tarot card level that this might be pretty interesting to say the least, because the bottom card we have here is the Tower. So there is going to be a certain sense of unexpected. There's going to be like an unexpected shakeup. And the Hermit card is talking about you kind of keeping to yourself to process things. What I think is interesting is on top of this is the Tower card, is the, you know, Eight of Swords. So you could kind of look to whatever happens to make you question what you thought you knew. But this is just a test, Sagittarius, to make sure you still believe in your own inner guidance and wisdom. You're not Virgo, so you don't have to be factually right all the time, because your hunches are guiding you closer to the general answer, all right, if not the Sagittarius right answer. So the Knight of Pentacles, as the final card, is saying you will go through a small period of like misunderstanding so that you can come back to that understanding. And the third quarter square that we're going to have in your ninth house is going to inspire you with the right beliefs so you can see better what you're changing about your lifestyle. Okay, so we also have deep knowing for the Oracle card. And deep knowing is speaking of you being in a position to understand more deeply everything that you've been going on in your life due to revelations that come out, as well as just like certain things that you put together to make more sense of your moment. Capricorn, Capricorn moon, and Capricorn rising. This is definitely set to be quite an interesting period for you, because with the third quarter square in your eighth house, you have to make sure you're in a deeper position to come to terms with certain, you know, decisions you've made surrounding who you're going to share more vibrant love and energy with, since you exclusively reserve your fire to those close to you. So the full moon in your fifth house will release certain influences that help or promote creativity within your circle of friends. It's going to be your chance to really express certain talents to people close to you that they may not have known. And the Oracle card we have is also deep knowing, and it's going to talk over the next 2 weeks, you gaining a deeper knowledge of things. But what I think is interesting here with the Justice card is there's a decision you are making at the very beginning of this transit with the full moon. Contracts are being signed, and you're going to really move forward based on the changes you make because of this decision. All right. But what's next after this? Because the Justice is such a logical card, you turn immediately irrational. We have the Seven of Cups and the moon. You're going to walk down a rabbit hole, Cap. And it's interesting because There's a deeper understanding. This is where this deep knowing comes from, but you're going to gain more understanding with your psychic power through what kind of comes as a result. Actually, it's like this decision is incorporating certain things you're not clear about. And you have to be careful you're not being deceived because there's going to be a lot of deception. But the bottom card here with the Six of Swords is saying that ultimately you're sailing away from anxiety. And the Six of Swords is saying with this legal decision or with this Justice card, things are going to get better. And it's a great sign that, the worst is over and you're going to sail towards more positivity. Aquarius moon, Aquarius rising, you're going to understand profoundly at a personal, private level what you are willing to keep or release about how you feel so that you could have a much stronger presence in your general public and in your society. But there will be, once again, with the fourth house, certain private elements within your home so that you can not only gain a more firm foundation, but also so that you can be in a position to really, once again, ground yourself and ground all this knowledge you're channeling. The third quarter square, of course, at your seventh house will express this dynamic and dilemma in your relationships so other people in your life can help you calibrate and see how balanced you are between your private and public. Once again, we have deep knowing. So you yourself are going to gather a very fairly deep knowing about who, in your case, Aquarius, who the people really are in your life by the actions they show you. Interestingly enough, we have the King of Cups and the Three of Swords. So I get the sense this is linked. I get the sense that you might have to cut cords with this individual. This individual may show their true colors, and you may call it quits. But what's symbolic here is like after this happens, it's followed by peace. So whatever this happens is followed by much peace and like relaxation, like whatever this water sign male is. And the Four of Pentacles is definitely speaking of over the next 2 weeks, you're going to get assured material gain and you're going to be in a much better financial position than you were before. All right. So Pisces moon, Pisces rising, the card that I have for you, or rather, the full moon in Taurus is going to really help manifest directly an idea and an attitude that you have. And this attitude and idea is going to incorporate a greater knowledge of how you're really seeing the unseen within your experiences with people in the form of psychological unconscious biases, habits, really, deeper intimacy as well. Oh my goodness, Pisces, this is so symbolic. And what this is talking about is you and your soulmate, okay? I get this is more for Pisces suns, but even moons and risings, it's saying you and your soulmate are kind of like battered. This makes a lot of sense. We have the tribe here. So with the tribe card, I feel like you are going to be the pulse of this tribe. You're gathering your tribe. They're finding you, Pisces. But we have here the Eight of Swords, all right, and the Six of Cups, but the Ten of Cups. So what I see is this is about the middle card. This next 2 weeks, you're going to connect with your soulmate. But what you're going to find is the reason why it was so delayed is because both of you have been so spiritually attacked that this person, it's hard for them to get a wrap on their mind. This person is defeated. And the bottom card here is the Hermit. So you're going to really understand and acknowledge the importance of developing this relationship privately to yourselves, okay? Keeping it on the low, because what's going to really open up is how there's not much support for both of you being together. And it's less about the support and more about both of you healing each other's wounds and coming together after you fought this battle. All right. So that being said, I'm going to pull one more card and one more oracle card for everybody. So So once again, we have the tribe, but I feel guided to pull one more. The tribe, of course, is talking about be mindful of who is your spirit family, who really is your soul group, because you're going to have an encounter where all of you acknowledge this link and it's like, oh snap. And the yin. So be definitely it pays to be receptive right now. And we have the chariot card. So victory is yours over the next couple of weeks. Just have practice self-control over your natural urges and forces, and don't let short-term gratification stop you from achieving the victory is yours to achieve. That being said, before I do the Q&A, let us now engage in this ritual really quick. So I would now invite for all of you once again to take diaphragmatic breaths. And as you breathe in, let this breath of life activate your chakras and activate your energy centers. And in the activation of these energy centers and chakras, definitely allow yourself quite profoundly as well to start to feel your energy and start to feel your aura. Even if you can't feel it, but you just sense it, just start to be aware in any clair or any sense that you would like to. All right. On top of that, now what we're going to do is feel this auric field around you. And as you breathe, feel your breath charging this field. All right. This could be the color red if you want to harness this Aries energy and to activate the energy through your root. So we're going to add a little bit to this. So start off by breathing and feeling this energy just spinning around you. What I'm getting from you from spirit is that some of you, you try and do this too hard. Like when you want to visualize this energy, you don't have to do it until you feel it like a vortex. Some of you're so powerful that you don't even feel your energy. It's like when you feel spiritual pressure, you may not be under the impression that other people feel your spiritual pressure and they feel like, whoa, because to you, it's like light. So you may be generating a lot of energy and you're just not even aware of it because you need to be mindful. So as you let this spin, allow yourself to be filled up with the essence of your aura. Feel it being like a mini pool over you, washing over and nourishing a whole lot of your cells. So just take some time to really sit here. All right. So as you charge your auric field, now what you want to do is feel the energy of the earth coming up to ground you. Feel the energy of the earth coming up to your crown and feel roots growing down from your feet. So you get that sense of groundedness down to the ground as you still let this aura spin. And if you don't want it to be red, it could honestly be any color you're guided to. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fulfill the moon on Uranus. And now that we're grounded, especially for those of you tingling, now what you want to do is have white silvery light just shining, pouring from the universe onto your crown, going down through your feet, and feel it strengthening the aura and like making it more vibrant. Okay. So as you're doing this, for the next couple of minutes now, what's happening is you're grounded from the root and you're connecting with the universe. Okay. So now as you're charging up this aura and energy field, you're going to spend the next couple of minutes, and you can do this for longer than this, envisioning your wish. Make a wish here, actually. Have set an intention. I don't like to call them wishes, but set an intention. All right. And the intention that you want to set is more your vision of who you see yourself walking into. See yourself crossing that finish line. And who is that person? How do you feel? And what's happening? Okay. Because this is Aries, embrace your power. And now spend the next 2 minutes to feel every single intention and wish coming true. And you slowly break out into a deeper smile. How does that feel? Charge your energy with this aura, okay? Very good idea. Let me play a special video to facilitate this so we can at least lose ourselves for 5 minutes. It's a video about raising your kundalini and awakening the goddess within. Let me do this actually. So once again, as you allow yourself to envision and also to really feel and take note of the sensations, you are teaching your body and you are teaching your subconscious to receive that which you're intending. So us pulling together and charging our vessels is literally attracting this. The Yin Oracle card that we pulled is saying you want to charge your intention and you want to let everything you desire come to you. This is how this is going to work. So charge your intention and do whatever you need to keep that energy, and it's going to come to you. Blockages are going to open for you. So spend some time to really charge this once again. Thank you, Miss Kiki. You guys are awesome in the live chat. Thank you so much. So if anyone would like to do any personal magic spells to like add or amplify, you totally can. What this is going to happen now is your aura is charged. You're going to, when you go to sleep and wake up, the full moon in Taurus will start. If your body's tingling, it means your aura is charged and filled with intention. So your job from now until you go to sleep is to keep your focus and mind intent on the person you want to become and who is this transformed person living the lifestyle. Your thoughts and ideas should be what you're doing and what is it that you're ready to receive. What is everything that makes you happy? When you go to sleep, this will now complete, and the full moon is going to bring us everything that we've ever wanted. Amen. Let's chant that 3 times personally to ourselves. This full moon is going to bring us everything that we've ever wanted. This full moon is going to bring us everything that we've ever wanted. This full moon is going to bring us everything that we've ever wanted. Okay, so as you charge this and hyper focus this, some of you can do extra and charge your aura more. And you just want to carry this through space and time with you into the moon going into Taurus, and then you can release it. Once the moon is in Taurus, you can still focus, but you can release it all, and you can now let everything come to you. This is the most important part, all right? It's important you release it when you wake up tomorrow. You don't even have to think about it anymore. And if you do, don't worry about it. Just let it be a positive thought, all right? So other than that, release anything in your life. That's more the masculine aspect of focus. The feminine aspect and the Taurus aspect is everything inside of yourself that makes you feel less worthy. Anything that makes you feel like you have to prove yourself to someone over the next 2 weeks, let it go. And come up with a more confident way to stand your ground, and you'll be all right. So I'm going to spend the next 5 minutes in meditation with you all, and then we will open up for Q&A. So over the next 5 minutes, continue to envision everything you're going to receive It's okay if you just see bits and pieces. It's just more about how you feel in the intent. Okay. Release yawnage there. Energy yawns. So, thank you very much for joining this webinar. I pulled the Four of Wands and the Death card, but I also got the Three of Cups. So this is going to bring us transformational results. that, you know, by this full moon, you're definitely going to like really celebrate and be festive with. And lots of good news in store that even if you're celebrating on your own, you'll still feel that joy and vibrance. So regardless, thank you for joining in. Now I will be taking questions and answers. And other than that, you know, carry this energy forth with you. There's really nothing you have to do. Everything now that you've charged your aura is now going to vibrate the frequencies needed to come. And what you're going to find is it's going to be the opposite. Like people, you're going to see people saying they've been looking for what you have, they've been looking for you. The North Node is directly on my sun. How will this play out with the full moon? You're going to find that destiny is hyper focused on your awareness. So you know what what goals to release and what stuff you don't need. And this is going to help you focus on what you want to accomplish very much so. All right. Smoke low, a card for advice for your nosy Jehovah Witness neighbor is the Two of Cups. So write a letter to her, but you kind of want to this is kind of interesting. It's saying be more loving instead. Write a letter to her, knowing her, know how you feel. But I get the sense that this person, you might actually save this person and they might gain knowledge from you, ironically, which is interesting. Okay. But if anything, I think this is talking about something different for your neighbor, and it's talking about relationship opening up. Okay. Why have these last few days seemed extremely darker? That is because we are heading into more darker times with this divine RPG. And Saturn's about to go into Cap. So you're feeling more so the darker potential of people's energy start to awaken. And people who have no control over themselves, you'll see this express. Not in the best ways, but for those who have control in great ways. Full moon conjuncts my South Node in Taurus in the 12th house is going to indicate you releasing forever old karmic lessons that have to do with how receptive you are to unconscious habits and biases of of yourself and for others. Okay. Queen, the Four of Wands is saying you don't have anyone to sacrifice. If anything, they'll kind of show themselves. But yeah, you don't want to. Once again, you don't feel like there's anyone you have to really like do anything super dark with like that. You just want to be in a position to allow things to unfold, if anything. My landlord is evacuating me because I smoke pot in my apartment. I found a new room with other people. I mean, if your landlord is evacuating you because you smoke pot, you might as well just go to that new room, because unless you're willing to stop smoking pot, if you're going to quit pot, then get that room back. But you don't need to be with a lame ass landlord who isn't even open to the marijuana smoke being smoked. So it is what it is. That new room can definitely help you. All right. Ashley, Benet, as far as what you can expect with Libra rising, you want to be in a position to open up profoundly to how intimately you can connect with other people, and how well you're going to really open up to certain friends you can trust while being revealed friends you can't trust. Why am I continually seeing older women in my dreams? Sunshine B, for you specifically, these older women are spirit guides. Not all of them are like for your benefit, but they're meant to show you facets of how you are going to be when you're older. These older women represent also the social circle you're going to be with when you're that age. But I get the sense that they're giving you messages indirectly. Like they're not up saying this is what you should do, but they're showing you a story. So that's like your own special, like, spirit lesson. Okay. Lilac Ocean, we do have the Six of Swords. So your tribe is sailing towards you. They're sailing towards their life. They may not even know they're coming to you. It's the overseas travel. So it's talking about anxiety really, clearing. Jody, what's on the horizon for you? It's going to indicate a whole lot more of peace, but this peace is only going to come with your willingness to put your foot down and to stand up for yourself. So the more you win these victories, the better, because you're not going to let people take what is rightfully yours. Oh, that's awesome. Luna G. I have the Hermit for you. So the Hermit is speaking of you trusting your own wisdom and not looking outside of yourself to know the answers, whether that means you have to isolate yourself momentarily. All right. Peace XOX, Nine of Swords is saying that maybe your family is putting you in a position where you're very mentally stressed and you're not necessarily in a position to really understand how well you could really deal with the stress. So you will have to confront this. And even if you have to take a break and move out. All right. Niambi, the card I have for you is the Knight of Swords. So you're definitely going to have to rush forward and move forward. Rationally, you might have to rush to a conclusion, but be careful. Make sure you have all the facts before you do that, because you will have to confront someone. Moon conjunct my Mercury in the Taurus, you're going to really gain intuitive insight into how to communicate more of your thoughts, and real facts and concrete practical values will incorporate what it is you communicate with people as well. Do you have any guidance for what I'm supposed to be doing to manifest or find my purpose? Only guidance I can have for you now, this late in the game, is to just trust yourself, because you spent the past 6 months really doing that. So you now want to trust your own self and see where you really lead yourself to. And it's the same answer for Brown Brujita as well. As far as being a Taurus sun, how do I better protect my energy? Really, casting white light will do a lot more than you think. You want to be very mindful about who you let into your boundaries, because you already have the defense. So how they get Taurus is people have to knock on your door. And then once you let them in, then they can drain you. So as long as you don't let them in your personal space, you will be good. You are that sitting fortress. So, as long as you don't allow them to take advantage of you, they will not take advantage of you. So that being said, I'm going to end the Miss Kiki, we have the Sun card. So there is a positive resolution for you and this individual. And no matter how things turn out, things are going to end where both of you are happy and with each other. So that being said, I'm going to Azaria won't give you a general reading, but I will pull a card for you. The Five of Pentacles is saying you really want to be mindful of what decisions you're making, because you may find a bit of some struggle financially, or a definite, alienation could be kind of causing you to think less of yourself, and you need to remember your values so you don't let this temporary thing get in the way. That's amazing, Alexa. I feel because Uranus and the moon are right now on your sun, you tapped into all of our energy very powerfully. So I'm glad you shared that. This is my 6th, but Taurus in the ruler, my 7th. Will there be a relationship, or is that a reach? That is a huge reach. It could manifest, but this is a lot more about setting the lifestyle in order that's grounded, so that you can be in a position to actually bring a relationship in for you. Okay. P did, the card I have for this move is literally the moving card, the 6 of Swords. So that's definitely powerful. It's saying everything will happen on its own. You just want to kind of drift away and allow yourself that everything about this move is going to really signify better times for you. Swirly Bot, We have the Page of Cups, so there could be a new lover, or there could be definitely someone new coming into the focus of your life. New emotions and new feelings are going to be in focus. Miriam Zaidani, the card that I have for you is the Wheel of Fortune. So the Wheel of Fortune is speaking of you being in a position to, with this energy, feel a faded shift and change of energy. All right. So regardless, keep that in mind. And Alexa, we have the soulmate card. So you're going to connect with this Taurus in a very innocent way where you both kind of connect like children, but you have that deep soulmate connection. So thank you guys once again for ordering this webinar. I'm going to cut the Q&A session. I always make sure I answer at least one question per person so we get to everyone. And that being said, y'all stay blessed. And until next time,